Welcome to our next webinar, our Friday Developer APAC webinar on Dreamforce Developer Recap today. My name is Shashank. I'm a Senior Manager of Developer Relations at Salesforce, and today I'm joined by Satya Shekhar. We're going to take you through a recap of what happened at Dreamforce developer-wise, what are the new things and stuff like that. Are you ready, Satya?
Yeah.
Okay, before we go ahead, let me tell you that this is a Salesforce presentation and we might make some forward-looking statements about features that are not yet generally available. So in case you're making any buying decisions, don't make them based on what we're going to talk about today. And we're all up for social. Feel free to reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn at the rate Salesforce Devs on Twitter and Salesforce Developers on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you can also find all of our developer content, our captive Salesforce developers content on our YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe it, follow it, keep searching for content on that. Also, please note that today's webinar is going to be recorded and the recording will be posted on the same page that you used to register for the webinar. The page will transform into a webinar recap page, and you can find the recording and the slides soon after we conclude the webinar. So with that, let me tell you also a little bit about some housekeeping items. So we are going to have a live Q&A at the end where we answer some of your questions, and you don't have to wait until the end to ask your questions. You can just ask them whenever you get it during the presentation, and there is a questions tab in GoToWebinar where you can actually post your questions as you get them, right? So in case we don't get to any of the questions, what you can just directly post on the developer forums as well to get your questions answered by our fellow Salesforce developers in the community. With that, let me hand over to Satya, who's going to just give a little brief of the agenda for today and take us through some amazing content for the rest of the 1 hour going forward. Over to you, Satya.
Thank you, Shashank. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone joining us today. Let me take you through the agenda for today's webinar. We are going to discuss about how to build the apps faster using the Salesforce platform, using some no-code builders as well as some pro-code tools on the Lightning platform there. And I'm also going to show you the new Lightning experience, which is going to come in all the coming releases there. On mobile, now you can see the Lightning experience even on the mobiles, just like how you see it on the web. And then we are going to discuss about the integrations where we can integrate the apps with the Lightning platform easily using our newest set of APIs there and a new platform there. We are going to discuss a lot about it. And then we are also going to discuss about the Winter 19 features that have come up and which we are going to use in our development that I'm going to show using our sample gallery there.
Sounds good. So what do you have in store for us with building apps faster using all kinds of tools that we have?
Yeah, as a developer, I always wish to develop applications which are futuristic. Like my application should not get outdated soon, right? So for that, I need to have a very good platform where I can build the apps faster and
Right. Okay, click to the side.
Okay. Yeah. So we have some no-code builders on the platform. We can use build it faster using our process builder and other tools. And we have some pro-code tools where we can use some IDEs and tools on the platform. And we also have enterprise services to build the apps faster there. And I believe not only building the apps faster, we also need to integrate our apps with some other third-party applications and work along with them, for which we have some pre-built default constructors on the platform. We have some custom APIs. We are going to also talk about how to manage those APIs and all in our integration part. And of course, artificial intelligence is there everywhere.
Yeah, apps are intelligent and smarter these days with Einstein, right?
Yeah, we have Einstein there. Now we have a new introduction in the Einstein. We have Einstein voice also enabled with our new release here. So we can use Einstein voice in our apps as well.
I was at the keynote at Dreamforce and it was pretty amazing, to be honest.
Yeah. So not build the apps faster. We know that our platform is built on some metadata infrastructure, which we have the enterprise services, and there are many no-code builders and pro-code tools which we are going to discuss. With that, we should be able to create the apps really fast. And with Winter 19, let's see what are the new add-ons, Shashank, for the no-code builders.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to find out what is Lightning experience on mobile.
Yeah, it's altogether a new mobile experience for us, wherein it just matches with what we have in our web. So earlier there was a difference, right? We could not see the Lightning experience really on the mobile, but with this new introduction, we can see even our app in the mobile in Lightning experience.
So what you're saying is the Lightning experience web UI style that I see with the apps and tabs and stuff. I'm going to get the same experience in mobile as well.
Right. Yeah,
that's interesting. Are you going to demo this to us soon?
Yeah, we are going to see a demo. We have a demo for you.
I'll wait for that.
Yeah, though it's on pilot, and we have one more aspect on pilot, that is Lightning Flow Builder. Till now, we know that the flow was using Flash stuff, right?
Yeah, Flash is not exactly a futuristic technology.
So now we have Lightning Flow Builder there, with which we can build the flow within our Lightning experience itself.
So there's no more Flash then.
No more Flash.
Okay,
no more
good.
Flash.
Good to hear that.
Yeah. And you know that we always strive to build new Lightning components based on the feedback from the community and our partners there. So no, I believe, if I'm not wrong, I believe we have 157 components in our backlog.
Wow, that's like a good increase.
Right. And we can use VS Code. As you know, there are many plugins for Salesforce development there. We can use VS Code as an IDE now, where we can develop the application and even deploy the application right from the VS Code editor itself.
Yeah, right. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Previously, we were able to use it only with Scratch orgs, and I thought, why not with everything else? And I think we are answering that question now.
Yes. And yeah, now Apex Test Console and the unlock packages are also generally available with our newest release there. And on the enterprise services part, you know what? We got a new sandbox.
One more type of sandbox?
Yes, one more type of sandbox. It's just like your Developer Pro sandbox.
But what is the difference? What is the advantage of this thing?
Yeah, the major difference is it can be created in minutes. If I'm not wrong, you should be able to create a sandbox in just 5 minutes, sir.
Wow, so no more waiting for a day or two.
Right.
And, for the queue, right?
Yeah, it has a refresh time very much similar to your Developer Pro sandbox. It has 1 day refresh time. One more interesting feature in the Lightning Developer Pro sandbox is you can instantly clone. You can instantly clone the sandbox, and not only that, you can also create the users in the sandbox. So these are the major benefits that we get with the newest sandbox here. And we have one more feature in our enterprise services, that is live record and cache invalidation. I believe I can show a demo for that live record as well. Yeah,
I'm curious to understand what that means.
Yes. So with that said, let us go and let us demo an application with these newest features. Let me go and open my sandbox. I've created some sandbox for the demo purposes. So I'm going to open a sandbox for the CarMax. You know what is CarMax, Shashank?
So I heard of Carwale and Car Deco, all these used car websites in India. Is it similar to that?
Right, very much similar to that.
Interesting.
Yeah, where we support the purchases, sales, or test drives for the customers and all. So this is an app which supports the both the customers as well as the sales associates alike. So let me open the app once and show you how it works. So we have a CarMax Central here. So this in this CarMax Central, you can see the wait list of the customers who wanted to go for a test drive or demo or all those things. So let me go and open our control center there. Let me open that. Yeah, here it goes. You can see on the left side, I have a component where you can see a list of available sales consultants. And on the right side, you can see a customer wait list. So these are the customers who wanted to take a demo ride or whatever, different for different tasks. Maybe this guy wants to purchase the car, or someone wants appraisal. Fine, I can just assign this customer to one of the associates there. So once it is done, that customer is assigned to that associate. It's that easy.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. So I'll also like to show the newest Lightning Experience mobile app. Can you help me, Shashank, like with the Lightning Experience mobile app there?
Yeah, sure. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, I'll
tell me what you need.
So let me open it here. So I believe I can see your mobile phone here, Shashank.
Oh yeah, this is my mobile phone.
Okay. Can you open the CarMax app there?
How do I do that? This is Salesforce mobile, right?
Right.
It just looks like the older app. What's the difference?
Yeah, you can just press that menu.
Okay.
Can you see any difference there?
Yeah, this is different.
Yeah.
This looks like the Lightning Experience web UI where there's that app launcher and all the tabs in that app and stuff. Oh,
exactly,
this is interesting.
Exactly.
So where do I go now?
Can you go to My Status there? So
Okay,
this is the app used by the sales consultant.
Mm-hmm.
So sales consultant may be in the field, maybe on the shop floor, going around with the customers, or maybe he's on leave. Now he wants to make himself available so that we can assign a customer. So if you can just go there and select available in your mobile app.
Okay, let me become available.
Yeah, and you can see that now you are available as the 5th consultant there in our web.
And my name is user.
Yeah.
Demos, right?
Yeah, it's a demo, test use.
All right, so if I do unavailable again, will it just go off?
Yes.
It's interesting.
Now you can see both on the mobile app as well as web. It is synchronized and it happens instantly, just with a click.
Okay, tell us how we did this, Satya.
Yeah, I'm going to show you that. So for this, we have used the newest of the Lightning component called EMP API there. Let me show you a code for it. So I have my VS Code. I just imported all my projects here. Let me show you these available sales consultants component. Okay, here you need to use only one line of code. This is our newest component where you can see I'm using Lightning EMP API component there, right? And this, let me say something about this component. So Lightning EMP API component can be used to subscribe to a streaming event. Okay, so streaming, you can use, you can subscribe to any kind of channels, event channels there. Probably you can subscribe for platform events, you can subscribe for push topic events, you can subscribe for change data capture events and all. Okay.
So somebody told me that EMP API actually means Enterprise Messaging Platform API. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I thought it's employee API.
Okay, so here we need to subscribe to a channel. Basically, I've defined a channel here. So I'm subscribing for an event called user status change. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to use this component here in our Lightning component which we are developing, and then we need to just write a very small function to subscribe to that event. You can see a method here. So here we are using the EMP API component. I'm just taking the channel and I need to give a replay ID, where replay ID gives what events you want to listen to. Maybe you want to listen to the past events, or you may want to listen only to the future events. In that case, you can set the replay ID to -2 and you'll be able to listen to all future events there. And this is how we just subscribe. So if someone clicks on the mobile app, say he's available, an event is fired and it is instantly notified to your web there, and you can see the result.
That looks pretty easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you going to show us something else? Anything else interesting in the CarMax app?
Yeah, while I was talking about the Winter 18 release conference, I was also talking about the live record there.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I'll tell you. Have you ever used Lightning Data Service, Shashank?
Yeah, Lightning Data Service is kind of one of my favorite things about the Lightning Component Framework. I don't have to write Apex to get a simple record, right?
Right.
So that's pretty neat. I really like that feature.
Yes. So with that Lightning Data Service, now we got a new implementation within it, wherein we can use the live records. If someone changes a record, it will be instantly notified here. Shall we see that? Shall we try it?
Yeah.
So let's try with our mobile app then. So let's go. Assume that you are working with your customer now, right? And you took your customer to the different cars that are currently available.
Okay.
And one of your customer liked a car.
Okay.
Now you want to hold it for that customer so that no other sales associates or sales consultants are going to show that car to some other customers. Right? Okay. Your customer should not get disappointed, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So let's see. Let's see it with a demo. Now you can go to the menu once again.
Okay. I went to the menu.
Yeah. Can you go to the vehicles?
Vehicles. Okay.
You can select one of the vehicles which the customer probably liked.
Let's select the Ford Mustang there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me go to the Ford Mustang. Let me also see it from my vehicles here in my app. Let me refresh the page probably. Okay. So I have the Ford Mustang open in my web, and we can also see that in the mobile app there is the same information. You can see it's 2015 Ford Mustang, right?
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Now, while you're working on this mobile app, probably when your customer wants it to be hold, you can do it with one small Lightning component. You can see a Lightning component here at the top, right? A button there. You can just click that, and your car will be on hold.
So let's say I'm a sales consultant. I want to hold this Ford Mustang 2015 for like a customer. Yeah. And should I just click on one click hold to make it happen?
Yep.
Shall I go ahead and do that?
Yes.
What happens if I click on it?
Let's see. Okay. I just want to tell. I don't want to reveal. Now you just press hold, and you can see on the web page as well that the record is hold. Okay. Now I cannot show it to any other customers.
Can I just remove the hold by clicking the close, and will it? Oh,
yeah, it's gone. Nice. It's gone. Now, once it is hold, probably you can go to the similar vehicles. Maybe you want to show some other vehicles to the customers with one more component here, which we are going to discuss down the line. Okay.
Oh, that's something coming up.
Right.
Okay. So from what I understand, there is some person looking at this record in a browser, in a window, in a device, and there is some other person on a different mobile app or on a different browser somewhere else editing that record, and this other person is automatically notified about the changes.
Right. So it may be from any of the devices. It may be from your Apex code, or it may be from any of the web pages from wherever you drop the record. So it will be instant for all other people who are watching it. Okay, or currently on that page. Now, let me show you how was that possible.
Yeah, I really want to see that.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we did to make this happen beyond what we need to do to use the Lightning Data Service?
Nothing. I've used the same old code. Okay, I use the same old Lightning Data Service component here. So this is the component you can see. Just getting that record, and it's because of its new live record feature, it automatically gets updated.
So it's just an inbuilt feature. You don't have to do anything about it.
Nothing.
That's useful, very useful.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything more.
So about you're getting something free without doing anything new. That's great, right?
Free is the best form of motivation for me. It is.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, anything else you have for us in store with the Lightning platform and CarMax?
Yeah, that's all for the CarMax. Probably we'll discuss more things from the Winter 18 release and also from the Dreamforce there.
So I think integration is also a very interesting topic this year, right?
Yes.
So what's happening with the integrating easier on the platform?
Oh, let's see. First of all, when you say integration, because I've been working on integrations for so many years in different platforms, whenever I hear the term integrations, I'm scared. Because I need to talk to some other third-party applications. I don't know what kind of protocols they use, how to communicate, and even while communicating, we don't know how the integration flows. So integration for that, when I switched over to Salesforce platform for the very first time, the things were easy almost, but still I was looking for more, because like once I get something, I always look for more, right? So in this platform, Salesforce platform, we have some predefined or pre-configured connections, integrations there, right? So we can use Salesforce Connect to create integrations. We can use Heroku Connect; they're already in place. Now, external services wizard is also generally available. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and we can do all kind of integrations using SOAP, REST, bulk, and UI tooling, streaming, all integrations using our Salesforce data, right? Salesforce APIs there, and then we can also integrate some real-time applications and near real-time applications using our platform events, Apache Kafka, and this is one of the new features which has come up, change data capture, right? Which is on the preview mode currently.
So all of these are good, Satya. We've been hearing about this for a while now. But one of the number one concerns that I keep hearing from developers generally is integrations with the Salesforce platform, or in general, are pretty complex. Are we doing anything about it?
Yeah, if you see your integrations are they're in fact really complex. Now let's take one more use case here for the UCSF. They wanted to integrate different kinds of devices, different kinds of platforms to store their patients' information and also capture the live monitoring status of the patients there. Now you can see in this diagram, we have HR systems integrated, security compliance is integrated, patient data is integrated. So, right. So even when we talk about it, it looks so complex. It looks so complex to integrate so many applications together, right?
Yes, it does. So
yeah.
I also think we acquired a company recently. What is it called again?
Right. MuleSoft.
Exactly, right? So is MuleSoft helping us with this by any chance?
A lot.
Okay.
Now the integrations have become much easy using the MuleSoft platform there. We have AnyPoint platform, which we are going to use to build our integrations. You know what? With this AnyPoint platform, we can create the integrations or the API calls for the integrations very quickly, maybe in minutes. And not only that, we can also test it using the mock and then see once it is ready, once it is available, then probably we can deploy it. So it's like a continuously improving integration you can build on the MuleSoft platform there. Right?
Enough talk, I want to see it.
Okay, I'll show it right away. Let's go with the demo for the MuleSoft. Let me log into AnyPoint. So as I said, Shashank, in this we have the complete IDE where we can define the applications and where we can create a API call, like a REST call, get, post, all kind of stuff there. We can build the response and then we can directly use it.
All in one interface.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do that. So for that, we have something called a design center. We should get into the design center there to work on it. And let me show one of the APIs which I have pre-built, keeping the interest of time. I know we have very short time. It's really short for us when I want to discuss something about integrations. 1 hour is not sufficient for me.
Not at all.
So this is one of the API we have created, patient and sensor API. We can build it right from scratch if you want. But I feel like in a live webinar or demo here, I would like to show you which is already pre-built, but you can do it by yourself. Okay. So we need to define an endpoint URL for the API call. We need to decide whether you want to go for a get or post, what kind of call you want to do. So you need to define an endpoint within which I'm getting some parameter called patient ID. Okay, we'll see what is patient ID then. For that, let me show you our Salesforce platform first. Even before creating an integration, I'd like to show what we wanted to do, what we want to use this integration for. Okay, for that, let me open one of the orgs here called UCSF. Again, I have created a scratch org. So let's see on both sides what happens on the Salesforce platform side and what happens on the MuleSoft side as well. Okay.
Sure, can't wait to see that.
Yeah. Let me open up this UCSF page. So while it is loading, let me also say that we are going to use this application to get the patient's data from a third-party application. Okay. So in the third-party application, we are going to monitor the patient. We are going to see how the patient is doing and all. So all that information, we are not going to store it on Salesforce platform anyway. We are going to get it from the third-party platform there. Let's see that.
Sounds good.
Let's see it working. So let me open that app here. We have an app defined. I'll open this app, PI prevention. So you can see a interface here where we need to load the patient information. Let me try one of the patients. You want to try here?
Yeah, I know one ID 101254 that we can try.
Okay, let me try that and see what happens. Oops, it shows some data there. Let me clear. Let me show you from the design center here.
Yep.
Okay. So let us create a ID. When we give a patient ID there, so you just given a patient ID in search, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you give a patient ID there, you can see that that patient ID is received on the integration end, and you need to define the URL here. We are going to get that patient ID, and we need to define a response for that. Once we get a patient ID, we want to process it, get that information, and give it back to the Salesforce platform.
Okay.
Right? For which we are giving a success response, defining a success response in which we want to send some payload with all the data related to the patient there. Okay, you can use any of these formats like JSON, TIFF, and all. Let us use JSON because it is most frequently used format there, right? So here we can give any of the data types like object, string, integer, number, and all. Again, keeping in the interest of time, I've created a data type called patient and sensor data. It's just a JSON file which can store the information about the patient. Once you select this type, you can see at the bottom, it creates an example JSON file. You're going to receive this JSON there. Okay, so now how to make it working, how to test it. So we can test it by using our, let us go here, let me go and use our mock. As I said earlier, we can use the mock on the top right corner. You can see here, there is a mocking service. You can switch on that mocking service. When you switch on that mocking service, you can see a base URL, right? This is going to act like an endpoint URL for you.
So this is like a test version of this API integration,
right?
That we can just use for now sandboxes and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay,
let's go
that's
there.
Useful.
Yeah, let's go there. Let me copy it. Let us go back to our Salesforce app once, and let me open this setup there. Now we need to establish a connection between the Salesforce platform and the third-party application, right? So for that, we can use the name credentials. I've created a name credential here where I can map the your URL, endpoint URL. Let me open it. So we can open name credentials here. I just clicked it, and we need to change the URL which we just copied from our third-party application from our MuleSoft. Let us copy that URL there.
Let's do that.
Yeah. So let me edit it. Okay. Let me change this URL once and copy this URL. So I just copied our mock service URL here. Let us save it. Go back to our pressure injury prevention. Now you can type something here.
Okay, let me try the same ID again, 101254.
Yep. Let me search for that ID. And you can see that a data is generated, and this data is from our mock.
This is like a hard-coded test data.
Right.
Okay.
It is a hard-coded test data.
Mm-hmm.
We have created it in our design center here. So whatever you can see in this response, so whatever we have built in our by using our object, patient and sensor data object here, the same response is displayed in our Salesforce app.
Oh,
Now,
that's how it works. Huh?
yes, yes. Now, shall we do it in real time? Let's see how it works with the real time data there.
Yeah. So go ahead. Let's. I think we just have to.
Okay.
Get the URL from somewhere for this app. I think.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
Okay.
So whatever URL you give in the name credentials, we are going to get the data from there.
Okay, that's the one we're hitting basically.
Yes. Right? Yes. So let me stop this mock for now.
So how do I get the URL for this integration?
For this integration for the API call.
Mm-hmm.
For the API call, you can currently we have done it using the mock here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I click on this mock button, so I copied the endpoint URL from here.
Okay.
Right. But now we want to do it in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just stop working on the mock. I don't want to work on mock anymore. So let's go back. So we have an application that is running on MuleSoft currently. We have created an application for this demo. Mm-hmm. So let me open that application, which in fact talks to other integrations as well. Let us see how that application works. So we have created a flow here, a process wherein when we get a request from the Salesforce platform, you can see here we have created, we can create more, we can add more processes, more nodes here if you want, if you want to integrate with more number of applications. But to start with, this is where I'm going to get the patient ID, right, through HTTP from the Salesforce platform. And then I'm going to use that ID to talk to my patient API there. This is one more API with which we are going to talk, and we are going to take this patient ID and get all the patient information from that patient API. Okay. Once we have that information, we talk to another integration, Sensor, right, wherein we use the payload which we got from the patient API. We'll use the patient data to get all the sensor related information while we monitor the patient, right? And then once we have the complete information from different APIs, like we have the information from the patient API, we have the information from the sensor API, then we need to go and we need to map it to our payload there, right? So let us go and let us run it once. So let me close this. Let us probably deploy it and okay. So while it runs, while it creates, let's go back and see that it is going to create some mapping there, right? It is making things ready. If you want, you can change the mappings as you want. So this is where we are going to map the patient's data as well as the sensor data to our output. There. So once it is mapped, you can go and copy this URL. So while let me copy this. Yep. And let us go back to your patient or Salesforce app there. Let us open the setup. Yeah, I think the name credentials is already open here. Let's go and change the name credentials now. Let's map with our newest URL there. So I can use the newest URL. So I just copied the new URL here and let us save it. You know what? I took the URL from here, right? And here you can see it's still loading. Probably it's because of my page refresh issue there. Yeah, we refreshed the page. Yeah. So fine. Anyway, let's go and see if our newest mapping with this new URL works here, where we get all the data from the patient as well as the sensor data there. Let's go back and see. Let me clear this result now. Can you type any new ID there? Okay, let's go and search for it. Now you can see this data is not from your map.
This is real data.
Right. This is the real data there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is how we can create an integration so easily using our MuleSoft API there, right? And yeah, any questions, Shashank? Is it there?
No, I think this is very interesting having that one area where you can just do all this lightning flow kind of a drag and drop way of setting up integrations in one, what's it called, design center again?
Yeah, design center.
So in design center you can just go ahead and put these APIs together. I think this is super powerful for developers because once in a while a developer is asked to create an integration.
Right.
And he probably has done it once and he just has to redo it. So these are redundant things that developers don't have to redo every time.
Right.
So having something like this to basically take care of that is like super duper valuable if you ask me for a developer.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so with that, I think we are good with integration. So what else? What else is interesting these days?
So yeah, let us go back to our presentation. Let me close all these windows there, and yeah. So have you ever heard about the sample gallery, Shashank?
Yeah, sample gallery is where all our sample apps are located on the same page, right? Yeah, let's tell our attendees about it, more about it. Yes.
Yes. Sample gallery is a collection of sample apps that are developed by the Salesforce. So these apps are always kept updated with the newest features that's come up. We have around 5 different sample apps now. So they're all built for the Lightning experience, and they have almost most of the features that come up, like platform events or integrations. All these things are inbuilt in the sample apps. Let me also show you a gallery there. Let me show you a web page which has all these sample apps. You can go to your Trailhead Salesforce.com page there, and you can open the sample gallery. You can see a list of galleries here, a list of sample apps here, right?
Say we have Dreamhouse, we have Northern Trail Outfitters, we have Pure Aloe, we have Dream Invest, and Easy Spaces.
All right.
And I see that there is a short description of what the app is about and also a bunch of features that it mainly uses and stuff like that you can actually learn from.
Right.
For example, if I want to use maybe the map that you've seen in the that you've shown in the recent demo and said you were teasing us that something is coming up on that.
Yes.
So if I look at it, there is a map feature somewhere here under Dreamhouse.
Right.
So I just have to go to the Dreamhouse app to check it out how it is used and stuff.
That's
is that right?
Right. That's how I wanted to do the demos today. So I want to use our sample apps. You know that the sample apps contain a lot of reference code.
Yep.
So the developers can go back and see how that feature works in the sample app. And if they have a similar kind of requirement, probably they can just use that code as a reference code and quickly build the application there. So let's go back to our presentation, and let me show you one of the components, lighting map. But before that, let me also tell you one thing, Shashank. We have some new components as usual. Like I always look forward for the releases because I get some new lighting components to work on there, which are going to make my way of creating the applications really simple. I can directly use that code from I can with one simple component, probably I can build a feature there, right? So which otherwise I would have to write a lot of lines of code there.
Again, redundancy.
Right.
Okay, so, I see that there are like a couple of new components that are interesting. One is the Lightning API, which we actually already saw. So we are already good with that.
Yeah.
There is also another component, Lightning Map, that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Lightning Map.
I'm assuming this is basically to show something like a real map or something inside a component. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have some experience little bit with building something that includes a map or something, and it's not very easy, to be honest, to build something like that in using Lightning components.
How much code did you?
Lot of code. Not a lot of code, as maybe few tens of lines of code is necessary, right? So what base light components are, from what I know, I'm assuming this is going to be reduced to One line of code.
That's what I was telling. What if I can do that using one line of code? Okay, that's what we are going
Can't wait
to do
to see it.
in the lighting map component. Okay.
How are we doing it?
Yeah, so you can see here we have one component that is listed as an example, lighting color map markers. It's the only line of code which we are going to write. We are going to do it in a demo anyways. But before that, let me also tell you something about the lighting map. So lighting map is just built on the Google Maps there. It looks very similar to the Google Maps which you use in any other application. So with this one line of code, you're going to have the complete Google Map in your app there. Okay, that's one good thing. And also you have you can so as you can see, you can give some location, one location. So you want to make a one marker on the map, you can do that. Or if you want to make a collection of markers, probably you want to show different places in the map, right?
Oh, wow.
So then also you can use the marker lighting map.
So you can either show one or many.
You can use a collection there.
That's very useful.
And the other thing is you can specify the latitude and longitude, or if you want, you can even specify the address. You can give city, country, state, postal code, and that's it. Your map is ready to use.
Okay. Can you see the demo right now?
Yes.
I can't wait. I'm very impatient. I want to check out how this works.
Yep. So let's do a demo here. Let's do a demo here. Let me open the Dreamhouse app then. Okay, let me open it anyways. Let's see. So there are a lot of scratch offs that have been opening.
Yeah, you have everything in a scratch off. You're pretty sorted.
My screen is cluttered. Like now it has all the calls now.
So you just have to give like name of the org and you have an org open. I think you are pretty well organized, Satya. Can all developers be like that?
Yeah, it's all because of the VS Code. You know what?
And Salesforce DX,
and
right?
Salesforce DX.
Wow.
That's fair.
Are we going to talk about that as well?
Yeah,
a little bit.
At least
in the interest of time.
Yeah. So now I'll just open my new org where I have installed one of my sample apps, Dreamhouse there. Let's open the Dreamhouse and see how we can leverage this new component that is already used in our sample app there. So let me show you how it works first, and then I'm also going to show you the code. Right. So let me open a property here. Once you open a property, you can see on this right side you have a map component. My page is still loading. So yeah, let me once refresh it probably. So yeah. So while it loads, I'll just show the code as well, Shashank, how it looks in the VS Code there. So if you go here, let me open my Dreamhouse app there. So let me go to my Force app because I'm working on a property. Yeah, this is the component which is there in my aura there, right? So here I need to use one line of code. You can see lighting map. Markers. I need to use some map markers here. This is a collection of objects. As I said, you can show one location there, or probably you can show a collection of locations. And you can also control the zoom level, right? This is one component which we have used.
That is all great, but again, though we say it is one line of code, obviously there will be some little bit of code to populate that map markers, right? To be honest.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Yeah. So you can see my map loaded here. So this is the map component which I've used here. So you can see doesn't it look like a Google map there?
It does, and I think it is Google Maps because it says copyright 2018 Google.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yes. So you can see the map view if you want. You can see the satellite view here, right? And if you want to see the terrain view, you can also see the terrain view. You can see the terrain separation, and you want to zoom in. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, and you can also visit a place. Just you can use all these features like any other Google Map component.
Just anything that Google Maps API offers, right?
Right, and all of this with one line of code.
And are you sure it's just one line?
Yeah, we need to obviously we need to populate the points, right?
The markers. Yeah.
Markers. So you can populate the markers from your Apex code or from any other place, like no, from the files and all. You need to implement it in your controller. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to only create your markers object. Okay. You can see that it's a JSON object. I have given one location here, right, for the property location, because I'm using it for the property. I just want to show where the property is. So I'm giving one object, but if you want, you can give a collection of objects here.
So it's just picking the latitude and longitude values from that record.
Right.
Is that, if I understand correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's where I'm using v.lat field and v.long field.
It looks pretty simple.
Right.
Not too much work.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Yeah. So.
All right. Anything else you have in store for us? So we talked about map, so there's also questions on this from our attendees here, and also about how we can find more of these components like lightning map, and how can I discover all the available base lightning components and stuff? Is there an easy way of doing it?
Yes. So as a developer, I always look for some references, right? From where I can get the components, so get the information about the components so that I can use those components in my application. For this, we have a Lightning component library, which is there generally available since our summer 18 release, right? So now it has improved a lot. We have got some new add-ons, new additions to our Lightning component library. Let me, you want to see the demo of a Lightning component library, Stan?
Is there anything new that I don't know of? Any surprises there?
Yeah, let's see that.
Okay,
let me show you. So let's go and have a see a demo. In fact, I can go to my developer.salesforce.com. So now I can find the Lightning component library right there in our developer salesforce.com itself. You can go to the resources here and you can see a link for the Lightning component library. Let me open that link. So it opens up the component library with all the list of components there. If you see, I have almost like more than you can see 157 results here, right? I have 157 components there.
So we were actually speaking the truth.
Yes. So here you can see on this page, one new add-on is linked to your org. That's one thing. Can you see any other differences, Shashank, on this page?
Yeah, there is Locker API viewer, and on the right side there is something called link to your org. Looks a little different, definitely.
Right. So this Locker API viewer, for looking into the Locker API calls, for referring the calls, you need not go to a different site now.
Is it something to help developers deal with Locker service?
Yes.
Okay.
They want to use some functions, methods for the Locker service, then they can get the reference here itself. Okay. So there is a very big list of methods listed here. So, as we want to centralize the reference information, we are getting that kind of information to the component library here.
That is great.
That's one good add-on. And can you see one more tab here?
There's something called Locker Console. What does that do?
I'll tell you what. So Locker Console can be used to test your JavaScript code. You need not write your application. So basically, if you want to check if you can use the JavaScript code in the Locker service, is it compatible with the Locker service or not? You can do it right here in this console without writing the application. You can write any of your JavaScript code here and check whether it is you can evaluate your code there.
Can we try something simple?
Sure.
Quickly.
One of my favorite objects I want to type in here. This is my simplest JavaScript code. I just type window there.
That's the easiest line of JavaScript ever, I think.
Yes. Let me evaluate this code with my Locker service on. Okay. Or probably I want to evaluate this code with my Locker service off.
Okay.
Let us evaluate. When I type a window, what do I see here? When my Locker service is off, the complete window object is available for me. There's no security. Whatever you want to do with that window, you can do there, right? Now let me switch on this Locker service and evaluate it once again. Now you can see that there's a secure window, right? there is a difference. Here you use the window directly, and here you have a secure version of your window object. Okay?
What's that benchmark thing that you see there?
Yeah, you can compare the performance. Like when you write your JavaScript code, probably you want to compare it with your locker service on, your locker service off, and if you want to do it in a more faster, like if it executes faster, how much time does it take? If you want to check all those performances and you want to compare them, you can do it just by using your benchmark button here. Okay, now I can see when I click on benchmark with the same code, right? It shows how it works. So it is giving you a time here at the bottom, right?
Oh.
And when the locker service is off, when the locker service is on, and fastest. If you want, you can clear the results and let me do it once again for you. So this is how it is calculating the performance, right?
So I see that we are actually saying sometimes it might be slower in locker service, and we are being transparent about it, saying it is like this much faster with locker off. It's up to the developer to take a decision on that. Yes. I see a lot of investment in trust with developers right here, which is like awesome, Satya.
Yeah. Now it has become really easy for them to compare and then take the decision there, right? And let us also look at the component difference. Not much difference, right? The same way we have been seeing the component difference in our earlier versions.
Can you show me the lightning map component and see how somebody can use that?
Sure, I can search for the map component here. Okay, you can go to the lightning map and you can see the example. You have the example for the lightning map. Though my browser, I think it's slowly refreshing. The same there. So you can see the map here, and you can see a code. This is the only code which we have used. Lightning map code with the markers and the zoom level.
So the examples are there, documentation is there.
You can see the complete example, the controller side, the component side, and you can also see the documentation and read about it. You can also see the specification if you want to see what are the attributes that are supported in this component. All these things you can find from the component library. Okay, and not only that, Shashank, what I can do is I can even link my org, right, to the component library. So here we have a link here. Just click this and give your credentials. Probably I have my QA. I just have my QA, right? So my QA credentials here. I log in into my org there, and I can see that my org is now connected to the component library. How can I say that? You can see on the top right corner. Let me show you here while it loads. So on the top right corner, you're going to see my profile picture. Okay, so though it doesn't load much, can you see any other difference here?
There is one difference that I see under components. There is a section called C.
Yes. So these are the custom components that I've developed, I've used in my application.
Wow, you have a lot of custom components, Satya.
Right. So we can write our own custom component, but beware when you're writing your custom component, you put documentation so that when you open your component, you should be able to see the documentation and all. Now you can see only specification. I cannot see any documentation here.
Because you didn't write documentation.
So yeah, I'm bad at it.
Yeah. Let's also encourage people to write documentation. So people who write components, create components, make sure we also document it well so that it's easier for everybody else to use it.
Right.
And everybody wins.
Right.
Okay, so that was about the component library. Now I know where to go and search for components and stuff. Now I know how to basically give a try at MuleSoft, what's there in MuleSoft. I also want to know what's happening with Salesforce DX. Any new thing, maybe in the interest of time, one thing that you can show, maybe demo and let us know what's happening in the world of DX.
Okay, again, in interest of time, let me do it very quickly.
Yes.
But yeah, we have a new configuration, new way of defining the settings in our new configuration file for the Scratch org. You know what? Now you can customize this Scratch org even before creating it. So you can give the settings for the Scratch-off. You can, let me show you with an example. Even our sample apps, all the sample apps are done with the newest form of configuration there. Let me open any of the sample apps here. So as you can see, there's a list of sample apps. You can open Dreamhouse or you can open some other sample app, no problem. You can go to the config and see the project Scratch definition file, right? Here you can give your org name, obviously, and you can give for which edition you want to create the Scratch-off for, whether you want to create it for the developer edition or maybe you want to create it for the enterprise edition, you can give that. Not only that, in the settings part of the Scratch-off configuration definition, you can define what custom apps should be available in the Scratch-off or what custom object should be available. Literally, you can define any of the metadata that is exposed from the metadata API. For all these things, you can define in the form of settings here.
You mean any features that I want enabled, I can automatically have it enabled when creating a Scratch-off itself.
Right.
That's useful. So is there a place where I can find out what are the things that I can configure in this?
Yes, let me open one of the pages. Let me open the documentation page for the newest settings file there. So this is the Salesforce DX developer guide. You can see these are the different settings that you can do. Like, no, these are the supported editions. It supports developer, enterprise, group, professional. If you go back to your Visual Studio Code, you can see that I have given developer here as the edition. Okay, not only that, you can give all the settings, as I said, like, no, what are the custom apps that you want to define, what are the custom tabs you want to make available, and all the metadata. It's a very big list. I can keep talking for hours together for this list.
But do we have ours together?
No.
All right, so that's pretty much what you have in store for us today in the interest of time.
Right, Shashank.
Okay, so with that, we have almost come to an end of what we have in store for you today, guys. But we will still do like 5-10 minutes of Q&A as much as possible. I'll try answering as many of your questions as possible. Are you ready for that, Satya?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Are you going to take all the questions?
So yeah, as far as possible, we'll try to answer the questions.
All right. So just a quick clarification on one of the questions. The question was, is AMP API only for CarMax? So the answer is AMP API is a base component that anybody can use in any org. It is not a custom component or something that we built for the demo. It is a base component that anybody can use in any org. Okay, and there is one question around how is live record different than using the AMP API component, because I understand why this question is coming, because in the demo we used a similar use case
and
to do the same thing
in the same application,
in the same applications. Right. So what you saw was doing the same thing in two different ways. But the advantage with AMP API is it is the enterprise messaging platform API where you can use anything like streaming API or platform events that actually work with external systems as well.
Right. Basically, it works on the publish subscribe model, where we subscribe for the events there, and it listens to the events whenever there is an event. There's a notification, and we are going to act to that notification. But when it comes to the live record, there we are using the Lightning data service.
It is only a data service thing, which is like specific to the Lightning data service. AMP API is a lot more, right?
Yes.
And when you use Lightning data service, there's nothing you need to do. It's just an inbuilt feature. And AMP API is actually a component that you have to enable.
Right.
Okay, I hope that answers the question. And there is one question around why is the replay value set to minus value instead of -2? Can we do something else? Is there any clarification on the values, the replay values?
Right. If you set the replay value to 0, you can get the past events as well, like notified. If you set it to -1, you get the events for the last one day, the past events. But if you want to see only the future events, you don't want to see your past events, then you'll have to give the value of -2 there.
So it's just an enumeration, right? It's not like
it
does not have any numerical importance. It's just a label.
It's a label. The value significance is whether you want to listen to the past events as well, or you want to listen only to the future events.
Sounds good. That's good clarification. So there are questions around MuleSoft. Is it available for free for developers, or is there content about it? So there is no developer edition specific to MuleSoft, but MuleSoft does offer a free trial
for 1 month.
That developers can actually try out. So you can try that out. And about content, there are questions around Trailhead and stuff. There is a new Trailhead trail for MuleSoft. You just have to search for MuleSoft in Trailhead. And we can also show you the developer, Dreamforce developer highlights trail mix that you can actually try out, which will have links to this content and stuff. Okay, with that, in the interest of time, let's see if we have any more questions. Otherwise, I think we are pretty good. Yeah, there are quite a few questions. So MuleSoft, change data capture. The question around what is the advantage of linking component library with the org. The advantage is basically that you get to see all the custom components as well inside the component library itself.
Right. Probably one of your team members wants to work on the same application. So he wants to use or some application on your org where he wants to implement the same kind of feature. Rather than creating a new lighting component there, he can go back to the component library, see if the component is already existing there, then he can directly use that component. So that is the benefit there.
All right, and there is one question around, can we use lightning map to show location coming from a JSON file or something like that?
So yeah, you can populate the marker object from anything literally. You can populate it from the object as object. You can populate it from the file, or you can populate it from any other JSON as well.
Okay, so there is one question around, a couple of questions around what are the advantages of MuleSoft over other ETL tools. One obvious advantage is if you have to use it with Salesforce, it should be your choice because we just acquired that company. For the reason we acquired it because it works very well with Salesforce, and also because it is one of the top players in the field of things similar to ETL, where it makes it easy for you to just build these integrations and maintain them in like one simple, very well designed interface. That is the advantage, I would say.
And you can also it's a kind of prototyping. You are doing the prototyping of your API. You are creating the API. You can test it using the mocks there. You need not build mocks separately. And then once it works, then you can get it integrated into your application there, right? That makes the things easy for the developer, right?
Absolutely. Okay, that's time for today. Thank you so much, everybody for joining us today. Feel free to post your questions on the forums if you're not answered yet. And also feel free to join our Trailblazer community group. The link you would see on the page right there, bit.ly/webinar in APAC. We're going to post all the updates regarding upcoming webinars and let you know when the recordings are available and stuff like that. So feel free to go ahead and join that. It's a Trailblazer community group that you can join with your community profile. And also there will be a survey sent out to you. Please feel free to provide your feedback to make our webinar program even more better.
Yeah.
Right. So with that, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We'll see you very soon in the next webinar
with new topic.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.